Every single night, 50 million Americans wake up to use the bathroom. Not once, but 2, 3, sometimes 5 times. Most people think it's their bladder. Most people think it's age. Most people are wrong. And in hundreds of thousands of cases every single year, that simple walk to the bathroom at 3 in the morning becomes the most dangerous 30 seconds of their entire day. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening inside your cardiovascular system the moment your feet hit that cold floor. Subscribe to Dr. Waterling right now and hit that like button. We're working toward 1,000 subscribers, and we're building this channel on one principle. The system makes money when you stay sick, not when you get better. What I'm about to tell you, nobody in a clinic waiting room is going to say. There is no revenue in it, and there is no time on a 12-minute office visit to explain cardiovascular physiology and overnight blood pressure dynamics. Here's what's happening. When you're lying in bed, your blood pressure is at its lowest point of the entire 24-hour cycle. Your heart rate slows. Your blood vessels dilate slightly. Your entire cardiovascular system enters what we call nocturnal dipping, a protective state where blood pressure drops by 10 to 20% compared to your daytime baseline. This is normal. This is healthy. Your body is designed for this. But here's the problem. When you suddenly sit up and stand to walk to the bathroom, your blood pressure needs to adjust instantly. And in people over 60, especially those with stiffening arteries, that adjustment doesn't happen fast enough. The medical term is orthostatic hypotension. Let me translate that. Orthostatic means related to standing up. Hypotension means low blood pressure. So orthostatic hypotension is the sudden drop in blood pressure that occurs when you move from lying down to standing up. In young healthy people, the body compensates in 2 to 3 seconds. Blood vessels constrict. Heart rate increases. Blood pressure stabilizes. So, en ser RD insan. But after 60, after years of arterial stiffening, after decades of dietary habits we'll discuss in a moment, that compensation system becomes sluggish. Here's what happens in your body during those critical first 10 seconds after standing. When you're horizontal, roughly 5 liters of blood are distributed relatively evenly throughout your body. The moment you stand, gravity pulls approximately 500 to 800 milliliters of blood, that's about 2 to 3 cups, down into your legs and lower abdomen. That's a significant volume. Your brain, which sits at the top of your body, suddenly receives less blood. Less blood means less oxygen, and your brain does not tolerate oxygen deprivation, not even for a few seconds. In a healthy cardiovascular system, specialized sensors called baroreceptors located in your carotid arteries and aortic arch detect this pressure drop instantly. They send emergency signals to your brainstem. Your brainstem responds by triggering 3 immediate actions. First, it increases your heart rate by 10 to 25 beats per minute to pump more blood upward. Second, it constricts blood vessels in your legs and abdomen to redirect blood toward your brain and vital organs. Third, it releases a surge of adrenaline to maintain alertness and vascular tone. This entire sequence in a young person takes 2 to 3 seconds. But here's where age and arterial disease create a catastrophic vulnerability. Stiff arteries don't constrict as effectively. A weakened heart doesn't accelerate as quickly. Baroreceptors dulled by decades of high blood pressure and inflammation don't sense the pressure change as rapidly. The result is that for 5 to 15 seconds after you stand, your brain is operating on reduced oxygen. You might not feel dizzy. You might not feel lightheaded, but your brain is in a state of acute stress. Now here's the truly dangerous part, the part that creates heart attack risk. Your body interprets this oxygen deprivation as an emergency. It releases a massive surge of stress hormones, primarily adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones do several things simultaneously. They increase your heart rate dramatically, sometimes by 30 to 40 beats per minute in the span of 10 seconds. They constrict your blood vessels forcefully, and they increase the stickiness of your platelets, the blood cells responsible for clotting. This is a biological panic response. Your body thinks it's under threat. For someone with existing coronary artery disease, even mild plaque buildup that hasn't caused symptoms, this surge creates a perfect storm. The sudden increase in heart rate means your heart muscle demands more oxygen, but the constricted blood vessels, including the coronary arteries that feed your heart muscle, are delivering less oxygen. This mismatch between oxygen demand and oxygen supply is called myocardial ischemia. That means your heart muscle is starving. And when heart muscle starves, it screams. That scream is a heart attack. There's another mechanism at play that most cardiologists don't explain clearly. The stress hormone surge makes your blood more likely to clot. Remember, your platelets become stickier. If you have atherosclerotic plaque in your coronary arteries, that's cholesterol deposits on the arterial walls, and that plaque has a thin fibrous cap over it. The sudden blood pressure spike can rupture that cap. The moment a plaque ruptures, your body treats it as an injury. Platelets rush to the site and form a clot. If that clot is large enough, it blocks the artery completely. Blood flow to a section of heart muscle stops. That section begins to die. That is a myocardial infarction. That is a heart attack. Let me be absolutely clear about the magnitude of this risk. We're not talking about a theoretical possibility. We're talking about measurable, documented cardiovascular events. The sudden catecholamine surge, that's adrenaline and noradrenaline, can increase your systolic blood pressure by 40 to 60 millimeters of mercury within 10 to 15 seconds. For someone whose resting nighttime pressure is 110/70, that means a spike to 160 or 170/90 or higher. That kind of pressure surge exerts tremendous shear stress on arterial walls. Think of it like this. Imagine a garden hose with a weak spot in the rubber. When water flows through at normal pressure, the weak spot holds. But if you suddenly increase the pressure by turning the faucet to maximum, that weak spot bulges and can rupture. The same physics applies to atherosclerotic plaque. Normal blood pressure, even slightly elevated blood pressure, keeps the plaque stable, but a sudden spike creates mechanical forces that the thin fibrous cap cannot withstand. The other factor that nobody discusses is the timing of these events in relation to your medication schedule. If you take blood pressure medication in the morning, by 3 in the morning, roughly 15 to 18 hours later, the medication effect is at its weakest point. Your blood pressure has less pharmaceutical control. Your arteries have less medicinal support. This is why morning heart attacks, particularly those between 3 and 6 in the morning, tend to be more severe. The cardiovascular system is operating without the full protective benefit of daytime medication levels. This is not theoretical. Research published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology confirmed that the highest incidence of heart attacks occurs between midnight and 6 in the morning, with a significant spike occurring between 3 and 4 in the morning. The study analyzed over 150,000 cases of acute myocardial infarction and found that nocturnal events, particularly those associated with sudden positional changes, carried higher mortality rates because patients were alone, confused, and delayed seeking emergency help. How old are you? Write it in the comments. I want to see which age group makes up the majority of our viewers because it will directly shape what I cover in future videos. Now let me tell you about James. He was 68 years old when he walked into my office for a routine checkup. He had mild high blood pressure managed with medication. His cholesterol was slightly elevated but not alarming. He exercised 3 times a week, walked his dog daily, and considered himself in good health. He mentioned in passing that he woke up 4 to 5 times every night to urinate. I asked him if he ever felt dizzy when he stood up at night. He said no, never. I asked him if he ever felt his heart racing. He said sometimes, but he assumed it was just because he was annoyed at being woken up again. I ordered a 24-hour blood pressure monitor and a Holter monitor. That's a portable device that records your heart's electrical activity continuously. The results were alarming. His blood pressure during sleep was 110/70, perfectly normal. But the moment he stood up to walk to the bathroom, captured clearly at 2:47 in the morning, his blood pressure spiked to 180/95 within 15 seconds, then dropped to 85/50 before gradually stabilizing. His heart rate jumped from 58 beats per minute to 94 beats per minute in under 10 seconds. This pattern repeated 5 times that night. Every single trip to the bathroom was a cardiovascular roller coaster. I explained to James that he was experiencing severe orthostatic stress with rebound hypertension. His arteries were stiff enough that they couldn't regulate pressure smoothly. I put him on a structured protocol that I'm going to share with you now. Within 6 weeks, his nocturnal bathroom trips decreased from 5 per night to 1 or 2, and his orthostatic blood pressure swings reduced by 60%. So, what causes this bathroom habit in the first place? Why do seniors wake up multiple times to urinate? The standard medical answer is an overactive bladder or prostate enlargement in men. And yes, those conditions exist. But in 70 to 80% of cases, the bladder is not the problem. The problem is fluid redistribution and what's happening to your legs during the day. When you're upright during the day, gravity pulls fluid down into your lower extremities. If you have even mild venous insufficiency, that means the valves in the veins of your legs don't push blood back up to your heart as efficiently as they should. Fluid accumulates in your ankles, calves, and feet. You might notice swelling by evening. You might notice your shoes feel tighter at the end of the day. That swelling is edema, and it represents liters of fluid that should be circulating in your bloodstream, but instead are pooling in your tissues. When you lie down at night, gravity is removed from the equation. That fluid in your legs begins to return to your bloodstream. Your kidneys, which filter your blood continuously, suddenly receive a much larger volume of fluid to process. They respond by producing more urine. Your bladder fills. You wake up. This is called nocturnal polyuria, and it has nothing to do with your bladder's capacity or your prostate size. Here's the critical connection to heart attack risk. The reason you have venous insufficiency and leg edema in the first place is often because your heart isn't pumping efficiently enough. Mild heart failure, even when it hasn't caused obvious symptoms like shortness of breath, creates backup pressure in your venous system. That backup pressure forces fluid out of your blood vessels and into your tissues. This is a vicious cycle. The weaker your heart, the more fluid pools in your legs during the day. The more fluid in your legs, the greater the overnight diuresis. That's excessive urination. The more you get up at night, the more you subject your cardiovascular system to dangerous orthostatic stress. Now let's talk about what you should do instead. First, you need to reduce the daytime fluid accumulation in your legs. This means improving venous return and supporting overall cardiovascular function. I'm going to give you a 3-part protocol that addresses the root cause. Part 1 is leg elevation during the day. This is simple but powerfully effective. 3 times during the day for 15 to 20 minutes each time, lie down and elevate your legs above the level of your heart. Use pillows to prop your feet up so they're 6 to 12 inches higher than your hips. This allows gravity to assist venous return instead of fighting it. The best times are mid-morning, mid-afternoon, and early evening, ideally 2 to 3 hours before bed. This preemptive drainage reduces the total fluid volume that will redistribute at night. Part 2 is calf compression exercises. Your calf muscles are called your second heart because they help pump blood from your legs. When these muscles contract, they squeeze the veins and push blood upward. Here's the exercise. Stand upright, feet shoulder width apart. Rise onto your toes, hold 2 seconds, then lower your heels to the floor with controlled motion. Feel the squeeze in your calf muscles. Do this 30 times, 3 times per day. Takes 90 seconds. Done consistently, this improves venous tone and reduces leg edema by up to 40% within 4 weeks. Part 3 is strategic hydration timing. Most people drink water randomly throughout the day and evening. If you're drinking significant amounts after 6 in the evening, you're loading your system right before bed. Instead, front-load your hydration. Drink most of your daily water between waking and 4 in the afternoon. After 4 in the afternoon, limit fluids to small sips as needed. This gives your kidneys time to process and eliminate excess fluid before bed, reducing overnight urine production. Now, here's the specific bathroom safety protocol for when you do need to get up at night. This protocol eliminates the dangerous orthostatic blood pressure swing that creates heart attack risk. Step 1. When you wake and need to use the bathroom, do not sit up immediately. Stay lying down and take 5 slow, deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 2, breathe out through your mouth for a count of 6. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system and prevents the panic adrenaline response. Step 2. After 5 breaths, slowly roll onto your side and pause for 10 seconds. This is a transitional position that allows your cardiovascular system to begin adjusting without the full gravitational challenge of sitting upright. Step 3. Push yourself up to a sitting position on the edge of the bed, but do not stand. Sit there for 30 to 45 seconds. Let your legs dangle. During this time, do gentle ankle circles, 10 rotations in each direction. This activates your calf muscle pump and begins pushing blood upward from your legs before you stand. Step 4. Before you stand, grip the edge of the bed or a nightstand firmly. This engages your arm and chest muscles, which helps stabilize blood pressure. Then stand slowly, taking 3 to 4 seconds to reach full upright position. Do not lunge or jump out of bed. Step 5. Stand still for 10 seconds before you take your first step. If you feel any dizziness or lightheadedness during these 10 seconds, sit back down immediately and wait another 30 seconds before trying again. This entire sequence adds about 60 to 90 seconds to your bathroom trip. Those 90 seconds could save your life. By allowing your cardiovascular system to adjust gradually rather than forcing it to respond to sudden positional change, you eliminate the dangerous blood pressure spike and the associated stress hormone surge. There's one more dietary component that directly impacts both leg edema and cardiovascular stability, and it's something the healthcare system will never emphasize because there's no prescription for it. Excessive sodium intake worsens fluid retention dramatically. Most seniors consume 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams of sodium per day, often without realizing it because most sodium comes from processed and restaurant foods, not the salt shaker. Reduce your sodium intake to 2,500 to 2,000 milligrams per day. This means eliminating processed foods, reading labels carefully, and cooking your own meals with fresh ingredients. Within 2 weeks of reducing sodium, you'll notice decreased ankle swelling, less facial puffiness in the morning, and fewer nighttime bathroom trips. Your blood pressure will stabilize as well. But sodium is only one piece of the fluid balance equation. Potassium, the mineral most people don't get enough of, plays an equally critical role. Potassium helps your kidneys eliminate excess sodium and water. It also helps your blood vessels relax and dilate, which improves blood flow and reduces the stiffness that contributes to orthostatic hypotension. The problem is that most adults over 60 consume only 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams of potassium per day when they need 3,500 to 4,000 milligrams. The best sources of potassium are not bananas, despite popular belief. One medium banana contains about 420 milligrams of potassium. A medium baked potato with skin contains 925 milligrams. 1 cup of cooked spinach contains 840 milligrams. 1 cup of white beans contains 1,000 milligrams. A medium avocado contains 975 milligrams. These foods should be part of your daily diet, not occasional additions. Here's a simple daily potassium protocol. Breakfast, include 1 cup of cooked spinach or 1 medium potato. Lunch, include half an avocado or 1 cup of white beans in a soup or salad. Dinner: include a serving of salmon, which provides 500 milligrams of potassium plus omega-3 fatty acids that reduce arterial inflammation. This combination provides 2,500 to 3,000 milligrams from food. If you need additional support, discuss potassium supplementation with your physician, especially if you take diuretics or ACE inhibitors, which can affect potassium levels. Magnesium is the third mineral that directly affects nighttime cardiovascular stability. Magnesium regulates heart rhythm, supports blood vessel relaxation, and helps prevent excessive adrenaline response. Deficiency affects an estimated 50 to 60% of people over 65. The signs include muscle cramps, especially in the calves at night, restless legs, and heart palpitations. The best food sources are pumpkin seeds at 150 milligrams per 1/4 cup, dark chocolate at 95 milligrams per ounce, almonds at 80 milligrams per 1/4 cup, and black beans at 120 milligrams per cup. For supplementation, avoid magnesium oxide, which absorbs poorly. Use magnesium glycinate or magnesium taurate 300 to 400 milligrams per day, taken in the evening 2 to 3 hours before bed. If you're taking proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, your magnesium absorption is significantly impaired. Discuss alternatives with your physician. Here's your complete nightly protocol summary. During the day, elevate your legs 3 times for 15 to 20 minutes. Do 30 calf raises 3 times daily. Front-load water before 4 in the afternoon. Reduce sodium to 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams daily. At night, follow the 5-step rising protocol. 5 breaths lying down, roll to side and pause. Sit on bed edge for 30 to 45 seconds with ankle circles. Grip bed and stand slowly. Stand still 10 seconds before walking. If you experience any of the following symptoms, you need immediate medical evaluation, not a YouTube video. Chest pain or pressure that lasts more than a few minutes. Shortness of breath that occurs with minimal activity or at rest. Sudden severe dizziness that causes you to fall or nearly fall. Rapid irregular heartbeat that persists for more than a few minutes. These are not symptoms to monitor. These require emergency medical attention. Everything I've described today supports your cardiovascular system's natural function. It does not replace medical care, especially if you have diagnosed heart disease, uncontrolled high blood pressure, or diabetes. Discuss these protocols with your physician. If you're taking blood pressure medications or diuretics, these interventions may enhance their effects, which means your medication dosages may need adjustment. Work with your doctor to monitor your response. The bathroom habit that triggers heart attacks in seniors isn't the act of urinating. It's the sudden positional change from lying to standing in a body with stiff arteries, sluggish baroreceptors, and compromised cardiovascular reserve. The stress hormone surge, the blood pressure spike, the increased clotting tendency, these create the perfect conditions for plaque rupture and coronary artery occlusion. You can interrupt this cascade by reducing daytime leg edema, which decreases nocturnal urine production, and by following a gradual rising protocol that allows your cardiovascular system to adjust safely. This is serious, but it is solvable. You are not helpless in front of your own biology. Your body is not broken. It simply needs support that aligns with its physiology rather than fighting against it. If this video helped you, send it to someone you care about, a parent, a spouse, a friend who gets up multiple times at night. You may have just given them information that prevents a catastrophic event. Subscribe to Dr. Waterling, hit that like button, and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. We're building this channel to share information that the medical system has no financial incentive to provide. Every subscriber moves us closer to that goal. How old are you? Write it in the comments.